back to another episode of the Let's Talk Headlines series. I'm your host, Jay, and this is The Objective. Thanks for tuning in to the 10th episode of Season 2 of the Let's Talk Headlines series. If you guys haven't already, be sure to check me out and follow me on Instagram at The Objective Podcast, and you can find me on www.politicalstorm.com with links to my YouTube channel. Please, if you do appreciate what we're doing, if you do appreciate and support independent media, be sure to subscribe on YouTube and also share links from Political Storm. There's a bunch of great content creators with varieties of different points of view. Today's episode, guys, we're not going to take very long. I always say that, and I feel that I let you guys down all the time. But today, there's important news that has broken after 22 months, okay? 22 months of the Mueller investigation. On March 22nd, Mueller completed his report and handed it over to the Attorney General, Mr. Barr. Now, Mr. Barr came out with a statement that much of the mainstream media and the Democrats strongly dislike. As a matter of fact, you have reporters in the MSM. Now, this is just to go to show the state that the mainstream media is in, where you have actual activists, actual political activists acting as journalists and providing the masses with information that is obviously skewed. And I feel that we're here again. I remember 2016 when people were so dumbfounded, so perplexed that Donald Trump won the election, when the whole time people like myself and people who thought and think the way that I do, the people that avoid groupthink, who paid attention, we weren't surprised at all. We absolutely knew that President Donald Trump would be, in fact, the president. So I just have a few things here. 2,800 subpoenas issued in Mueller's investigation, 500 or almost 500 search warrants executed. There was no obstruction at all. And when I say no obstruction, I mean on behalf of the president to infringe upon Special Counsel Mueller's investigation. Mueller was given free rein to look where he wanted and do what he wanted. And here we are on the verge of the 2020 election, where he comes up empty-handed. And the conclusions that were drawn by AG Barr state that none of Trump's... Oh, Tara wants to say hi, guys. Hey, buddy. Want to say something? Rough. Here, let me get him on the bed. He's good. I didn't throw him that far. But none of Trump associates, none of the Trump administration, there's no proof to suggest that anyone, including President Trump, colluded with the Russians. This whole false narrative, this whole conspiracy theory that was brought on by the mainstream media day in and day out, hours upon hours of news cycles. This whole thing that if you question this narrative, you were looked at as a conspiracy theory, you're looked at as a Russian agent. This goes to show, folks, again, another example as to why you need to follow the evidence, why you need to be skeptical, why you need to be critical. Because again, look at Jussie Smollett. There are people who believe the whole thing at face value, and they drew conclusions and they hated a certain group of people based on this lie. And that's why it's so important. And this is why the MSM, the mainstream media, have forsaken and disregarded journalistic standards, all out of hatred for a man. This is where it becomes an issue when you are both a political activist and a news personality. So, you know what can I say? Since 2016, as soon as this thing came out, I knew that this was a ploy to loom over the Trump presidency, to cast doubt in the minds and the hearts of voters. But here we are, and the truth has come out. Mueller has no more sealed indictments. He does not believe, or he states that there are no more sealed indictments, no indictments to come. Apparently there were 37 people indicted in this investigation, over 25 of them in Russia. And let's be real, do you think Russia's going to extradite these people to the US? No, absolutely not. And all of the Americans that were indicted They were indicted on process crimes, nothing to do with Russian collusion, financial crimes. Like, this was absolutely a witch hunt. And President Trump was absolutely right when he said this is a witch hunt. So you need to practice scrutiny, folks. You got to, there's so many people that smart people smarter than me, who would argue with me and say, you know what, no, he's going to be indicted, he's going to be impeached, this and that. And, this is why it's so important to be informed. Do not be a consumer. Go out and actively do your research. Be a skeptic. In a generation, in a world where, you're called a conspiracy theorist, you're called so many things if you do not go along with the popular train of thought. Be someone who sticks out and stands up for your own beliefs despite whatever anyone says. Do not let people silence you, because time and truth typically work together in tandem. So thank you guys for tuning in to the 10th episode of season 2, the Objective Podcast. Make it your goal to be objective. Have a good night.